Hi folks, continuation from the last one. Last one talking about fantasy faith can be dangerous. Would I say I've necessarily been engaging in fantasy faith and the things that I was believing was fantasy? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that's the problem at the moment, is that I don't know. It's because if God has been telling me for the past 14 months that I'm not guilty of the charges, I say this is completely separate from did I do something wrong on a day? That's not the thing that's in question here, because the charges are talking about causing suffering. So therefore, it's not about did I do wrong on that day, because that's a separate thing. But with regards to the charges from a legal point of view, if God says I'm not guilty because there was no suffering, then of course my understanding is, and for a number of reasons, is that I'm going to be therefore found not guilty. Even though on the day of pleading, I pleaded guilty because when I went in, Father said things aren't going to work out the way you want it today. And then my solicitor was acting like a deer in the headlights when talking about going to trial. So, and because I believed that the trial happened that day, I pleaded guilty because I knew I couldn't trust this little baby solicitor. And so also with the understanding that, my solicitor that I've got now, he's suggested that, I can take on the SSPCA with regards to the change of ownership, and if I believe that that was done wrongly, then I can actually take him to court over that. I don't want to go to court again. I know I love my doggies immensely, and I know I know to a certain degree I'd do anything for them. But to be honest, look, if they've been rehomed anyway, there's nothing I can do. Now, taking on the SSPCA will only be about punishing them. There's no point to that at all. Put it this way, I wouldn't advise any SSPCA person to come to my home at any point in time, especially if I have the authority of God's word, because I'm going to turn that person into a bloody frog and stamp on it. There's no doubt about that in any way, shape or form. The way I feel towards these people, that wouldn't be wise. Thankfully, I don't think we have the power or the authority to turn a human into a frog. We're not talking witchcraft here. So, they're safe in that way. But yes, so, going to court on Tuesday, believing that if we're waiting for the right sheriff, and if God keeps on basically getting the other sheriffs to say, okay, we'll delay it again, then there must be a purpose to this. There must be a bloody purpose to this, surely. And then just for it to be delayed again, fuck. That, it's like even my solicitors, I asked them, I did a video the other day saying I've asked them to try and get a copy of the paperwork for the transfer of ownership. Even just get a copy of the paper of transfer of ownership. But actually, if you can get that, it has a date on it. It has a date that they put the request in. If you can get a copy of that with that date on it, 20th of December. That quite clearly says you were supposed to have 10 days. I wasn't given 10 days, so therefore they stole my dogs. They didn't give me the allotted time to actually put in an appeal for that not to happen. Clearly, but as I say, my solicitors tend to think that I'm asking them to basically make a case themselves against the SSPCA, which is not their job, because they are basically solicitors that deal with criminal, not civil. and so therefore they're saying they can't. I've said I only want the blinking paperwork, because there's a good chance that a judge will ask for it, ask for proof for it, and so therefore just having that paperwork available would be useful. Yeah, whatever. So again, my reply to them wasn't nice. I basically said in my reply to them, because the person pretty much said that I had basically happily agreed that the ownership of my dogs would pass over to the SSPCA. Excuse me? First of all, would I happily agree to pass my dogs over the ownership to anybody? No. Even a good person. Would I want to do that? No, because they're my family. Secondly, to an agency that would bring the ownership transfer paperwork over on the 20th of December, knowing it was an unfair thing to do. Were they thinking of the dogs when they did that? Were they thinking of what's best for them? They've already split them up from their owner. What they want to do is split them up even more from each other and rehome them to 11 different homes. That is, yeah. Would I want to hand my dogs over to them? No. If I was handing my dogs over to a person who would actually keep them together, that would be preferable, wouldn't it? But I wouldn't even do that. Not if there's a chance I can get them back. Right? I was in a position where I couldn't do anything at the time. Partly because of the time. You know. So, yeah. So, yes, I basically, yeah. I replied with a little bit of vile, I suppose. That would be a little bit of annoyance in my words, yes. I don't care. I mean, they're useless solicitors, to be honest. They're absolutely terrible solicitors. I understand that they're doing things according to a system that I really am not part of, apart from the fact I'm in it because of this situation. But I don't understand it. I don't believe in it. I don't support it in any way, shape or form. And, you know, so, yeah. To be honest, could I have done a much worse job had I just been representing myself with with either a not guilty or even a guilty plea, but being able to actually speak for myself? I couldn't have done a worse job than Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom was the one who lied 3 times, and this chap who now is the one who represents me, I forgot what his name is, but anyway, him, he said that he would undo what Mr. Tom did. He hasn't even tried to undo anything. He couldn't even undo a bloody his own zip, I imagine. I imagine he employs someone to do that for when he needs to use the loo. Yeah. So that's the situation there. I'm not impressed in any way, shape or form. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point. I mean, if you're in your 50s or something, I imagine that you would have been, and you're a solicitor, I imagine you would have been practicing law for a good 10, 15, 20 years. You should be better. You should be a damn sight bloody better. Unless you've given up, in which case, and it looks like they're giving up. It does. It really does. It looks like they're giving up. But if that's the case, then it really is up to them to do something about that. Well, they've got to sort that out and get rid of that. So if they've given up, they shouldn't be operating simply because of the fact that they're not representing anyone now, are they? You've got to have fight, because you know that if you've got somebody prosecuting someone, then you've got to defend, and you've got to give as much energy back as they're giving, if not more. So yeah, anyway, there you go. Hopefully this helps. people don't understand. Bye bye.